What's up, you guys? So, Merry Christmas week or Happy Hanukkah or whatever you guys celebrate. I'm huge. I'll show you. "31 weeks and about 4 or 5 days. So we're very pregnant. Another request for shelter has been closed without placement or offering any sort of options. I was scheduled 9 weeks to establish care with Dr. Kristen Gallagher. As you guys know, I've been documenting diligently every physician, who's either refused me health care or done something else that's unethical, that was probably and could be tied into all of these other cases, beginning at the release of Dylan Smith from the IDOC, inmate number Y12173 in 2019. To say that I filed 100 police reports would be an understatement. Human rights? What human rights, right? So we waited 8 weeks for this appointment with Dr. Kristen Gallagher at Amita Health. The appointment was scheduled for this Monday, yesterday. Last week, Wednesday, I received a voicemail approximately 4 p.m. stating that someone from the office needed to talk to me about the details of my appointment. Called back that same night. There's no answering service. The phone number is not registered legally to any doctor's NPI number. So I got suspicious. My background, as you guys all know, is medical law and ethics. So I've been finding myself in situations where there's something nefarious going on. Wherever I'm funneled into, there's usually something nefarious going on, and I don't want to know, and I don't want to be a part of it. Unfortunately, this is just where they've put me. So I don't really have much of a choice. I show up at the appointment even though they left me that voicemail, and I called back several times. Friday, I spoke with a man, Josh, who claims to be the office manager for the practice. When I went in on Monday and spoke with front desk agent Brianna, she said that the office manager was a woman. So there's a lot of mixed signals going on. No one really knows what's going on, but they're not following the laws. So I show up for my appointment on Monday about 45 minutes early, 30 minutes early, and they say that Dr. Gallagher cannot see you today. And I say, well, why not? And she said, I don't know. Let me ask the office manager. And I said, please ask the practice manager what I should do. I'm 31 weeks and some days pregnant. I'm having contractions. I'm literally camped out within a few blocks of the hospital in case I go into labor. The city knows, law enforcement knows, there are a million police reports on file regarding these issues. I don't know what else to do, right? She says, hold on, let me ask. The front desk person, Brianna, tells her office manager exactly that. This patient is claiming that she's having contractions. She's 31 weeks pregnant. This is a high-risk pregnancy that another doctor in the Amita family has labeled as high risk because of my age, 36 years old. And because of my current, what's going on in my life, the level of stress, the level of physical activity, the level of just everything that's been going on. And she wanted me to go to UIC, which is not going to happen. All of my friends and family live on the north side. I've lived on the north side or the north suburbs my entire life. Everyone in the comments who continues to say the things that they say in an attacking, accusatory, false narrative kind of way that interferes with me having medical care. I would love to be involved in all of these next conversations because this is really what it's about. After I receive the "you can't be seen here" speech, I start getting a flood of messages, most of which are archived. Half of them I've just deleted, claiming that someone is going to steal my baby, that gay people are going to put my baby up for adoption, that they are working at Northwestern undercover, they're not real doctors, and that they have found people on the black market to pay for my baby. That there are I need to, same with the twins, give them my children off the record is essentially what they're asking for. And I'm freaking out saying absolutely not, documenting every step of the way, making sure my doctors are documented and everywhere I've gone is documented so that no one can come into the hospital and try to steal my baby as a newborn, right? I have had 13 open requests for shelter assistance. I've gone to every single resource for pregnant women. They have turned me away at every turn. And not only was this unlawful when it began in 2019, it's still unlawful today in 2023. And I still want to press charges against everyone involved, criminally as well as civilly. I've filed numerous petitions to get in front of a judge for many different reasons, both at 555 West Harrison as well as the Daly Center. Pretty much every 18th, 19th, Jefferson Park, Harwood Heights, Barrington Hills, Lombard, Elmhurst. Every single one of these area police stations has police reports on file from me with everything that has gone on, all of the abusive measures and being prevented from having regular maternal care and all of these things. It feels like I am being held in a hostage situation. I'm not being permitted to take care of my family in the way I need to. I'm not being permitted to go to work and make my own money. I'm being forced to sleep outside in a tent on cement. The city's services that are in place to help people with homelessness are not responding, and this has been going on for 4 years. The first 2 years I had my vehicle, a newly paid off Cadillac CTS, so I slept in the backseat of that. I've obtained 21 jobs, Cafe Oliva, Export, LA Fitness. The list goes on and on. I have them all. I also have checks from each job that I've cashed, and there are copies of each check digitally in my PNC bank account. So there is no shortage of proof as to what I'm saying. There's just a shortage of follow-up and a shortage of action in resolution. My home was taken from me unlawfully. I was thrown into the street, and I have remained there for 4 years. I have lived in Airbnbs. I have lived in the backseat of my car. I have lived in hotels. I have never been homeless since giving birth to any of my children. I have always kept a roof over their head. My oldest is 17 years old. 17, 15, and 10. And I have been the primary custodial parent from the day they were born through the day of Dylan's, all of this nonsense taking place, the show Love After Lockup and all of that. As I've said numerous times, I definitely want to press charges. There are people going around slandering and libeling me to every boss that I've gotten since this show has aired, preventing me from continuing to work. I'll get 1 or 2 paychecks, and then all of a sudden the boss will call me into the office and say that someone called them and told them that I was doing fraud, or someone called them and told them that I was doing identity theft, or someone called them and told them that I was a thief, or someone called them and told them that I have a social media channel and that there are multiple bloggers dedicated to smearing my name and that it might get involved in their business. And these people that call my bosses, they're manipulators, and they're skilled at giving persuasive arguments in favor of me being terminated. And then the bosses freak out and let me go. How can I support myself this way? So if I'm getting job after job after job, and I have a bachelor's degree credit, and I'm sending proof, letters of recommendation from the physicians I worked at Northwestern, letters of recommendations from patients that I've done home health care for or just home housekeeping for, and a very, very extensive and impressive resume, and I'm truthful about everything in every one of my channels. How can I be mad at these employers for getting scared? No, it's not the employers that I need to get mad at. It's the fact that law enforcement needs to find out who continues to make these calls to my employers that are slanderous, libelous, and preventing me from earning an income. And then they need to press charges and follow up from there with the state of Illinois. I don't work for the state of Illinois, nor do I work for any law enforcement agency. I'm a civilian. I'm a mom. I am being harassed and targeted. Police have had the opportunity for 4 years to make it stop, and they've figured out how. They have figured out how. You know how I know? Because it stopped for 6 months to a year. What goes on when all of a sudden the police forget everything that they've had to do for the past 3 years to keep me safe? Is it a budget issue? Are they running out of money? Is it someone paying them off and a corruption issue? What is going on? And how do I get ahead of it so that I can give birth in a setting that's peaceful and conducive to a stress-free labor and delivery that's both healthy for myself and my unborn child? This is ridiculous. So this doctor prevents me care. I call non-emergency police. They have no idea what's going on. I call 911. They have no idea what's going on. I pretty much ask everyone the same question. Who do I file a criminal report for when a physician who is bound by law, federal law, has an obligation to see a patient, especially a pregnant one, and if she can't, has an obligation to refer care to another doctor in a reasonable amount of time. She is aware. I gave them a chance. I told them, you are aware that the laws in the state of Illinois, as well as federally, for terminating a patient are very specific. You cannot just let a patient go. You can't say, I don't like what she posts on social media, so she can't come in. If you don't like what the patient posts on social media, then what you do is you have an adult conversation with the patient. You say, hey, I noticed, I don't know why a doctor that's never seen me before would be monitoring my social media posts. That's a little weird in itself, don't you guys think? But the fact that she was monitoring my social media and saw a post I made saying, this is my new doctor, in case anyone, is planning to try to rob me of my newborn baby, and any advocate that may be watching, this is where I'm going to go for care. Please have my back on this. I'm scared. I've also informed law enforcement. If anyone can run an MPI check on this provider, I have tons of friends that work at Northwestern that have free access to those systems. I don't have to pay for it. I would have to pay for that information. People I know can run it for free at their desk. If anyone can check the NPI National Provider Index and make sure that this is actually a real doctor, her phone number rings to a voicemail box that says the voicemail box is full and you cannot leave voicemails. There is no answering service. This is an OB gynecology clinic. How do you not have an answering service? If I'm in labor and your voicemail box is full and you don't have an answering service, you must not be a doctor. There's something going on here. And still, nothing. So I asked the operator at 911, what do I do? I can't really move a lot. I'm limited in mobility. This is a high-risk pregnancy. I'm still too early to deliver. I contract, if I walk too much or get upset. Please advise me what I should do. I need to have some sort of legal record of this taking place to give to my lawyer. Not only because it's this one isolated incident, but because this has been going on, occurrences that mirror this one since 2019. So the operator just sits there in dead silence, saying nothing. Hello? Yes. So you want to do what? Okay, let me explain it again. I explain the entire thing again, calmly, rationally. Federal law states that if you would like to fire a patient for any reason, you have a burden of providing care for a reasonable amount of time or until a new doctor has been acquired for the patient. That doesn't mean you send a pregnant woman who requires constant checkups to a walk-in clinic on the other side of town. That would not be an adequate reference, right? That would not be an adequate referral. You would need to find a doctor that's within a few blocks of your practice, Amita, Ascension. If it's Northwestern, there are thousands of doctors. And then the doctor would call on behalf of the patient and say, hey, I have a patient. For whatever reason, I can't continue to treat them at this location. They have mobility issues. Can you please squeeze them onto your schedule for me? And the doctors are like this with each other because they understand that happens. So when they get a request like that, they will 9 times out of 10, if the doctor is making the request, they will accommodate the request. If that doctor says no, the original physician still has the burden of coordinating that care. That is the law. Medical malpractice insurance will not cover a physician who knows the law and chooses, to go against it. That would be out of that physician's pocket. So I give them all this information and I'm telling them, look, I'm a regular patient. I'm pregnant. I have 3 children. I'm very easygoing. If something happens with me clinically, I can pretty much triage and work myself up and give you all the information you need to give me the best information possible on what to do from here. I'm a great patient. If you can't provide me another doctor, what would you suggest I do? Well, they never let me get through to the physician. They send some customer advocate to call me. And as I said, make some reference to a free community clinic that doesn't even exist. They're not even real. And they're most certainly not going to monitor a pregnancy at 31 weeks pregnant. I'm not going to walk to the west side of Chicago at this stage of my pregnancy and ask a free clinic to monitor me. It makes no sense. So that's what I did today, and we're in the laundromat. I waited, as I said, 8 weeks for that appointment, and they waited until 3 days prior to the appointment to cancel. So I've been monitoring this pregnancy in other ways. There have been a tremendous number of professionals who have been involved, who have been in receipt of the narrative that I have compiled with different case numbers and issues that I have with regards to civil and human rights. And I'm not going to go into detail on that here, but they're in multiple locations, including 3 area hospitals. I'm very eager to see what is going to happen. And at this point, unless every American citizen is, willing to just say, yeah, who cares? We don't need rights. There needs to be some tremendous amount of energy, given to these issues. I mean, this is way out of hand. Nothing can be discussed away anymore. The civil rights, constitutional rights, human rights, where? Where? I have not had respect for any one of my rights since this began in 2019, I'm sorry. What have I lost in this time? Well, I've been jumped and stabbed 11 times by 3 women with screwdrivers. No victim service is rendered. I've been forced to walk for 4 or 5 days at a time, sleep deprived, and then sexually assaulted by force. All reported to law enforcement. I've been bludgeoned by a man and hospitalized for 5 days. Prior to 2019, I've never even so much as been in a fist fight. Never been a victim of any sort of violent crime, nothing like that. So there's definitely a trend here. Sorry guys, I'm contracting. I can't take it anymore. They need to do what the fuck they're gonna do or get out of my way and let me take care of myself. There is nothing wrong with me. Everyone perpetuating these false narratives in the comments, I want charged. I would like to press charges criminally, civilly, all of the above. So another FTR. Nothing has been done to resolve any of these issues. These are 4 years and counting. I miss my children. I want to get home to them. I've not given my permission, nor have I been willing to participate in any of this drama. It's not my fucking problem. I don't want anything to do with it. My problem right now is the fact that I'm in my 3rd trimester of pregnancy and doctors are refusing to see me. That's my problem right now. My problem right now is that people are following us, harassing us online and in person, stealing from us, raping us, beating us, and this is a collective summary since 2019. So the last time I was assaulted was I was 14 weeks pregnant and I was asleep near the Gwen Hotel inside of my tent with a lock on the door, and a man ripped the whole entire front panel off of the tent and kicked me and stomped on my face. I had an ultrasound at Northwestern to confirm that the baby was okay and he was fine. All of this is documented thoroughly. I need resolutions and I need them pretty quickly. Christmas is this week. I'm going to go drop off gifts to my big kids. We're going to take the bus, and we found someone who said that we could tie up our belongings near one of their personal spaces at the yacht club so that we could get on the bus, because unless we have that assistance, we can't even board the bus with all of our belongings. Still have not received any refund from Safe Store, who robbed me of $74. I paid for a storage for an entire month, and the following morning they revoked access entirely, $74. U-Haul down the street did the exact same thing. I paid for the storage. About 6 hours later, attempted to access my belongings and was denied access. None of them have refunded my money. And like I said, this is just off the top of my head in this exhausted pile of bullshit that you've left me in. I have everything written down in great detail. There are lawsuits at every step of the way. I want to be with my children in my own home. I'm about to go into labor. If I have the baby today, then what? The city has services in place that are not death traps for people like myself who don't have drug issues, who don't have mental health issues, who are good parents, who are educated, who are willing to work. Why are none of them being offered? And why are all of our resources going towards helping only people who have drug issues and mental health issues? What about the rest of us? What about me? Where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? And how do I, as I've said so many times, explain any of what's been going on to my children or your children? You think my kids don't go to school? You think that other kids don't catch wind of what's going on? You think that all of the hundreds of thousands of people that I've informed about this situation don't have family and children, and that it's not discussed? It is. So what do I tell my children so that they keep their faith in the United States government and the policing system and the emergency response system when they just see their mother in the street for going on 4 years, having done nothing to deserve it, not having a drug issue, being attentive and loving and caring, calling numerous times a day to make sure they're okay? How do I explain to my kids that this is happening? What do I say to my little children, 10, 15, and 17, to make any of this make sense?